Tina glared at Henry incredulously. How could a child tell lies? It was impressive how he said that out loud, considering all the times he refused to listen to Sophie. In fact, he had always snapped at the girl, calling her out for being dishonest, accusing her of making a habit of lying and always reminding her that she was a bad child. Talk about double standards. The single lie that Sophie ever told was when she had lied to Tina to cover for her father, who had broken their promise. And she paid for it with her life. Even so, Sophie remained so insignificant in Henry's eyes. Her eyes red as she glared at Henry, Tina coldly demanded. So Rory is a child but Sophie isn't? There's no comparing both of them. Henry blurted. Tina's glare turned icy, so that was what he really thought. His darling Rory was just as perfect as her mother, the love of his life. As for Sophie, she was just as insignificant as her mother Tina. At that instant, Tina felt such terrible agony, as if her heart had been ripped out, but she laughed despite herself. Naturally, her laughter never reached her eyes as she kept them on Henry, snarling every word. You're absolutely right. Because Rory would never measure up to Sophie. That brat was just a child, but she was both a pathological liar and a master of frame-ups. She was not comparable to her sweet Sophie at all. Tina's eyes went red in indignation for her daughter right then. With a father like you, she would never rest. Before she could even mention Sophie's passing, Linda suddenly grabbed Henry's arm, crying in panic as her right hand had turned red and swollen. Henry, am I going to lose my hand? She sobbed. I won't be able to draw anything now, will I? Naturally, Henry was so quickly distracted that he did not hear Tina as she finished. Let's get you to the hospital right now. Don't worry, I'll make damn sure that you'll be fine. He studied Linda's hand and scooped her up in his arms with Rory in tow, sweetly holding on to the hem of his shirt. As they passed Tina, however, Henry growled icily. You better pray she didn't lose her hand. After they left, however, Tina was clearly unaffected as she competed against the remaining 6 contestants. She did what she had always done and secured the final slot for the design competition. As Tina left Skymex Tower, she was ready to head straight to the subway when a motorbike shot toward her. She spotted it too. However, she stood still instead of running away, watching as the rider pulled up with an elegant power slide, stopping steadily right in front of her. It was a man balancing his motorbike with his long legs as he took off his helmet with one hand, revealing his ridiculously handsome face. He raised a brow, trying to play it cool even as puppy-like affection for Tina welled up in his eyes. Get on, beautiful. I'm taking you on a joyride. It was Jimmy Jones, Tina's only remaining friend back from her days in the orphanage. She was 8 when the caretaker sold her to a pedophile. In fact, he almost had her when Jimmy barged into the room without an ounce of self-regard, knocking out the pedophile and escaped the orphanage with her. To protect her further, he hid her while he lured their pursuers away. When she saw him again at the orphanage, this time with Madame Barnes' company, he was bloodied and battered and barely clinging to life. Even so, he never gave her up. Still looking at her dear friend now, Tina was speechless. Do you really think you look cool in that? Jimmy simply flicked his bangs as he bragged. You're wrong there, beautiful. I don't think so, I know I look good. Tina said nothing and beckoned, and he lowered his head in return. Holding the back of his head, she turned his head so that he was looking into the rearview mirror. Yeah, looking real good there. Shit. Jimmy could not help but curse out loud when he saw the mess, which was his hair, and quickly put his helmet back on. He barely looked cool for a second there. It really ruined his image now. Tina could not help smiling as she watched. On the other hand, Jimmy pouted as he beckoned. Get on. He suddenly paused. He was leaning over to get Tina's helmet when he noticed the little child-sized helmet beneath Tina's pink one. Tears welled up in his eyes. It was supposed to be Sophie's birthday present, but he just happened to miss it because he had training to attend and could not apply for the day off. However, he ordered that little helmet to be made, so that he could take Sophie out on his bike once she recovered from her surgery. He just did not expect that there would not be a chance again. Even now, Tina's heart ached for her daughter too, especially as a mother. After all, her beloved daughter had loved her father so dearly, but that man only cared about Rory. Sophie was not even allowed a place in her father's heart, just because Linda was Rory's mother. Sophie would definitely be overjoyed if she were to see it. Tina smiled, clapping Jimmy on the shoulder reassuringly. She was still heartbroken over Sophie's death, but she must not give in to her sorrow. Her dear Sophie would never want to see her like this, and Tina still remembered how Sophie had made an adult-like wish, that her mother would be happy, on her second birthday. Beside her, Jimmy quickly composed himself, getting up and passing her a helmet. As Tina was ready to put it on, Jimmy suddenly cursed, "Scumbags!" Tina paused and looked where Jimmy was looking without realizing it. Henry's car was parked right there, outside the tower opposite Skymex Tower. And inside, Henry was leaning over to kiss Linda.